Ma'am, very quickly, I hope chats are enabled on the YouTube channel. I'm on the channel. Are chats enabled? Are students able to comment on the YouTube channel?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes. They'll chat. They can chat in the chat box. They can send the messages in the chat box, ma'am.
All right, great, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Shall I start? A very good afternoon, Spooty ma'am. Good afternoon, my dear students. I'm highly elated to extend a warm and hearty welcome to all of you, especially Spurti ma'am. Thank you for accepting our invitation with a very short period of notice, and we are highly delighted for your association with Matrushri for the second time. A warm welcome, ma'am. Dear students, today you have a session on English technical communication. You have been learning English from day one you started your education, but now you have taken admission in a professional, or better to say, a technical college, where the role of technical communication begins. To grab an opportunity in placements and to sustain in a profession, these skills play a pivotal role. To emphasize this, we have amidst us an eminent speaker. I am highly privileged to share the information about our speaker today, Dr. B. Spurti ma'am. Ma'am is presently working as Assistant Professor of English at Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, National Institute of Technology, you better know as NIT Warangal. She has a PhD in English Language Education from the English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad, and has over 10 years of corporate training experience in improving operations through curriculum development and employee training. She has driven many performance improvement and training logistics prior to joining the academia. Forerunner with extensive knowledge of the learning cycle, experience of working in a fast moving and changing environment, and she is adept at nurturing students by increasing learning opportunities. And she is highly experienced in delivering a wide range of training solutions, including management training, soft skills, training, coaching, and mentoring through a number of channels, including web based learning and traditional face to face classroom sessions. Ma'am has coordinated several workshops, including 3 Atal FDPs and 1 TechWhip sponsored workshop, proficiency courses, and delivered number of invited talks. Prior to joining NIT Warangal, she worked as a learning and development manager with corporates like ADP, Genpact, NIIT, and HSBC. She has trained employees across levels at Google, Accenture, Dell, and many other organizations. She trained students of numerous engineering and management colleges in and around Hyderabad. She has conducted teacher training program for 30 days under the aegis of Jilla Parishad, State Government of Karnataka, for over 1250 government teachers in Bidar at Karnataka. Ma'am is working on 2 funded projects at present. They are artificially intelligent virtual lab for developing employability skills, funded by ICSSR, Indian Council for Social Science Research, under category Novel and Path-Breaking Major Research Project. And second being an institute-funded virtual lab for improving English communication skills. Her research and academic interests are in English language training, leveraging technology in language learning, social emotional learning, content and language integrated learning, and teacher education. As far as I know, ma'am, this is very short description. Ma'am, actually, she deserves much more than these all, and you will be experiencing such the lecture of such an eminent person. My dear students, hope you will be highly benefited with this lecture, with her lecture. Ma'am, once again, welcome to Matrushri.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, Sunita, ma'am, for that elaborate introduction and those kind words. I really I'm happy, delighted to associate with Matrushi once again. I thank you and Dr. Chandana for roping me in again and giving me an opportunity to meet the right new talent that is getting into your institution. And I hope the session, the expectation that you set will be met. I mean, it's a huge burden right now on my shoulders, but then I hope I live up to the expectations. Thank you again.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. The beginners are in your hands, ma'am. You can mold as you like.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. That's a
Okay,
huge
okay. Hand it over to you, ma'am.
responsibility.
Hand it over
Thank
to you.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, all. Hope you're all doing well. You know me already. I am Spurti, and you have heard about me from Dr. Sunita. And now, I just want to make sure that you are with me, as in you are in front of your computers or your mobile phones, but then you're also listening to me. I see your chat or your comments on the YouTube channel. Can you type number one in the comment section if you are with me? One. I'm waiting for you to respond. Since this is the only way we are able to communicate, COVID has taken a toll on all of us. It has taken many things away from us. One of those many things is the opportunity to meet people in person. It would have been lovely to meet you all in person and interact with you in person. Look at your beautiful, glorious faces and smiles and engage in communication and interaction with you. However, the best other opportunity or alternative that we have is meeting virtually, and we are making sure that we take full advantage of this and meeting in this induction program virtually. Induction program as such is designed by the governing bodies, be it MHRD or UGC or other AICT, in order to give you the cushioning that you require, or the launch that you require to be able to get into a profession which will lead into a career. Basically, I cannot, for example, if I join engineering, I don't think I will, by the end of my career, or even if after putting 4, 5, 6, 8 years into it, I will become a doctor. Right. So I will be an engineer, or I'll be a techie, a software professional, something related to technology. And it is actually leading me to my career and my life path, right? So this is the time for you to be comfortable, understand the area that you're getting into, and also be prepared for the challenges ahead of it. So nobody's saying that any course, be it engineering, medicine, law, whatever course you would like to take up, no course is going to be very easy. If somebody told you that, you know what, engineering is very easy, it will be all fun, glory. No, that's not right. However, if you dive into it without any preparation or information, then it will be difficult. Otherwise, it's all understood and known to you. And induction is supposed to give you that understanding into what you are getting into and how your course will transform you into a professional. Right. With that as the background and with all your responses, thank you very much for responding. Let's move ahead. So this session is on English technical communication. Now, all of us can think, you know what? First of all, my biggest worry is that it is 1:35 in the afternoon, and it is a post lunch session. And post lunch sessions are always dangerous. One, I have turned off my camera to save bandwidth, but then even if I do, there is no opportunity for me to see you. Right. So what we will do is we will try and keep it interactive. Okay. Can I get a 2 in the chat window if you're with me and you're up to keep it interactive? There are points in the session where I will ask you multiple questions or perform some tasks. Can I get a number 2 in the comments if you're ready to take up the task? Because an engineering course, throughout the 4 years, you'll have a lot of tasks. Great. I get to see, yeah, your responses. Brilliant. So let's dive in then. My first question to all of you is, how many of you woke up today? My question should rather be, how many of you are awake right now? But then, yeah, if you did, when did you wake up? What time did you wake up today? 6 a.m., 7 a.m., when was it? Some of us would have woken up at 10, let's say, if you do not have any morning sessions. Okay. I see your responses. Mimi, great. 6, 7, 7:30, 6:30. Somebody woke up at 10. Most of you woke up around 6 and 7. Okay, okay. Good job, good job. My next question to you all then is, how many of you woke up and the first thing you did was to reach out to your phone? Or how many of you slept with your phone right next to you? On your bedpost or on your side table? You can type your responses in the comment section of the YouTube channel that you're viewing. Somebody woke up at 4:30. Brilliant. Okay, okay. Let's move on to the next question. How many of you, again, I'll repeat the question. How many of you woke up and the first thing you did was to reach out to your phone? How many of you slept with your phone right next to you? Yeah, including me. Yeah, right. Most of us would have done that. Yes. Everyone, obviously, right? Okay. Then this question is, you all know that you're attending an induction program. You know you're embarking this glorious journey, your learning expedition, right? So how many of you actually woke up and thought of the things that you would learn today? Not many of us, right? You did great, good job, good job. So have you heard of the race between technology and education? There is always a race between technology and education. What happens is either there is a technological innovation and the education system is expected to train the students to be able to work on that technology. For example, right now, some new technologies, can you think of some new technologies that are in rage? I can give you one. Big data is one. Artificial intelligence. Can you think of any other new technology? Any other new things? New innovative technology? You can type. I gave you big data. I gave you artificial intelligence. IoT is another. You're all engineers. You're all future techies, right? You can type in the chat window or the comment section. I'm sorry. Cyber security. Brilliant, Shruti. Robotics, Sandhya. Good job. Anish says machine learning. Absolutely. Pavan says data science, great. Raghunath says cybersecurity. Good job, great, great. These are all new technologies, right? That are innovated, and then now they came into education, and the education system is expected to prepare its output. That is, you all for the use of that particular technology or those technologies that you've listed, right? Now, I have a simple question for all of you. Who won in the race today in your life? I'll read the question again. Who won in the race today in your life? When you woke up today, what was the first thing that you reached out to or thought of? Technology or education? Type T in the chat comment section if it was technology, if you thought of your mobile phone or if you thought of your TV, whatever technology, or E for education in the comment section. Let's see who won in our lives today. Did T win or did E win? Just type T. Don't take the pain of typing the entire word. T is for technology, E is for education. Technology, technology, technology. Oh my God. Most of us said education, to technology, and only 2 of us said tech education. Okay, okay. Did anybody think of both of them together? Because most of the learning today is happening through technology, right? Did anybody pick technology or pick the device up for the learning today? Yeah, a lot of people are typing E as well. Great. SR News WNP, I see multiple responses from you. Can you please limit your responses to 1 or 2 per question, please? Great, great. Let's move on. Okay, so First of all, let's begin the session. The reason I asked you this is because this session is entirely on technical communication, and I just have one objective for this session. Only one plain, simple objective. By the end of the session, we all, I am including myself in we will be able to answer the following questions. Okay, now the question before then is, why English for engineering? I learned English all my life. English was there in class 1, 2 to 10 to intermediate. Now again English, it's just another language, right? I know English already. I don't have to attend classes. It is only for grades. I know. I've seen it all, done it all. I did my bachelor's in science and then moved to language education where I did my MA in English. But then I always thought, why is English supposed to be learnt across levels? Now, the focus of today's session is not on English. It is on English for engineering or for technical education. Okay, so we will try and understand in this session, and we will be able to answer the following questions. The first question is, what is communication? Second is, what is technical communication? Third is, what are the aspects of technical communication? Okay, now when I say aspects of technical communication, we look at 4 different aspects: audience, purpose, format, and style. Okay, so these are the 3 questions with the third question, which has 4 sub questions, if I can call them sub questions. Fair? That is the whole purpose of this session. And let us go back to the slide again towards the end of the session to see how successful we've been in achieving this objective. For that, I request all of you to stay connected. We will take little small tiny mini breaks if we need to, because 2.5 hours is pretty long. Do let me know. Okay, and also I want to make sure that you're all responding and actively participating. Therefore, whenever I have a question or a task for you, please make sure that you perform the task, because what you do not do, you forget. Okay, I have a question for all of you before I begin. How many of you have withdrawn cash using an ATM card? It can be yours, your parents, your brothers. How many of you have withdrawn cash using an ATM card? Type 1 in the chat window if you did. Number 1. And if you have also taken the slip, the transaction receipt, type Y. The letter Y. Okay. Sign up did. Okay. So what happens to the print on the slip? If you just fold the slip and keep it in the purse and take it out after 1 month, what would happen? What magic would happen? There is some magic that happens in that 1 month. What is that magic? You can respond in the comment section. What magic happens if you do not open the slip for a month and keep it in the purse, or see it after a couple of days or weeks? I'll tell you, the print disappears. It becomes white, right? Why do you think it happens? It happens because the paper is called I checked, yeah, print disappears, right? Because it's basically a rolling paper, and if you don't, the print just fades and then disappears. So a psychologist once told me that our brain works exactly the same way. So when we learn something or do something, the information gets embossed on our gray cells. And if we don't revisit that information, what happens is the gray cells send our information to the recycle bin of the brain. And then if we don't use that information or retrieve that information from the recycle bin, the brain deletes that information forever. I have proof. I'll prove it to you. Okay, let's see. How many of you have seen somebody, looked at their face, would have met that person but would have forgotten the name? Did it ever happen to you that you're going in a market or in a shopping mall, you know that person by their face, but then you forgot their name? You're smiling at that person, but then you forgot that person's name. Did it happen with you? If it did, type H in the comment section, please. Letter H. H as in happy. Happens, right? Yeah, it happens so because the brain would have sent that information to the recycle bin. Great job, Amish. If it did not happen to you, you have very great memory. Good job. All right. It's so, for example, in my in your classes, let's say, for example, let's look at your friends from 5th standard. You would have had, let's say, 40 to 60 students in your class, right? How many do you remember by name and by face? You'll remember exactly the number of people you have on in your social media accounts, on Twitter, on Insta, and on Facebook. Otherwise, other people who are not in touch with you, you would have forgotten. Right, because the brain did not retrieve that information. It thought it is useless information and sent it off to recycle bin. Right. So in this session, what we will do is we'll try and put into practice some little habits that will help us in retaining the information that we will learn, not just in this next 2.5 hours, but in the next 4 years. That is throughout your course of engineering. Okay. All right. Great. Let's move ahead then. So do you see a task time on the top left corner of the screen? The task time on the left in uppercase. Now every time you see that on the deck or the slide, it is your job now. The task to you is, there is an elephant and these are people, men from Stone Age. Don't worry about animal rights. It is not happening right now. It happened then, back then in Stone Age, and these men are trying to hunt the elephant. Okay. Now, what are some of the skills that these men required to perform this task? Skills that these men required to perform this task. You can type in the comment section. I'm waiting for your responses. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 men surrounding. There could be another behind the elephant. We are not able to see the 8th person, maybe. But then these 7 men, remember the number 7. We'll come back to this, okay? They required teamwork. Amish says they required weapon making skills. Ujjwal says hi Ujjwal. We are in the middle of the session. You can continue listening and you'll be able to understand. Pratik says brain hand communication, great. Timing, Vishnu says timing. Manvita Reddy says teamwork. Venu says planning. Shruti communication. Tejas physical strength. Khyati says teamwork. Tulasi says courage. Sandhya says concentration. Good job, guys. Great way of doing it. Now, if you say communications, team skills, teamwork, focus, physical strength, concentration, right? Now, let's look at communication for the purpose of this session. Tell me what communication they required and what is communication at all. What, according to you, is communication and what kind of communication they require to perform that task? Good job, guys. You're doing a fantastic job in responding. Good job. Now, the next question, please answer the next question, which is what is communication and what type of communication was required for them to perform the job that they were performing? What is communication at all? Group work, yeah. Group communication within the team. Rambabu, good job. Okay. Basically, they needed to share some information between people, right? What information were they sharing? For example, if you are a part of that group, if you were a part of that group, right? So what information do you think you would have shared with the other 6 members? Who is going to attack, who is the backup? They would have interacted, right? Sharing some information, discussing, executing the plan. Good job, guys, yes, absolutely. This information exchange is communication. What if one of the 7 members, now tell me, what if one of the 7 members that are attacking the elephant was not listening to the others? Or what if the one person among the 7, so one is not listening and the other, the 6th person, doesn't understand the language? What would happen? They'll all fail. They'll all fail. So remember, guys, it's not just giving information, it is also receiving the information correctly and acting on the information. Yes? Agree? One, you will send some information, and if you are the speaker, you will pass the information, and if you are the recipient or listener, you will receive the information and make sure that the information that is passed is understood correctly and then is acted upon. Correct? So that is communication. Communication is the exchange of information between two or many people, and it is the responsibility of the speaker to ensure that the information is passed correctly. For example, I want to make sure that you are listening, not like this 7th person in the group who is not paying attention. And I also want to make sure that you are able to follow my instructions or the lecture, not like the 6th person who doesn't understand or interpret the information. Therefore, I am requesting you all to type in the comment section of the YouTube to make sure that you are with me in the process. Agree? Can I get a 1 if you are with me so far and are following what I'm trying to tell you? Can you type a 1 in the chat window if you're with me so far? Great, great. Now, the next question is how many types of communication do we know? So let me take you through this very quickly. Types of communication based on the channel or the route we use to communicate. One is verbal, and other is non-verbal. Non-verbal is when we don't use words, and verbal, pretty simple and self-explanatory when we use words, right? And verbal can be written or oral. Again, oral can be face-to-face communication when you actually meet the person and talk, which happened before in the pre-COVID world, right? And the other way of oral communication is distance. It can be remote, like right now, or virtual communication, or telephonic or otherwise. And the other way of verbal communication is written, which is through emails or text documents or WhatsApp messages, text messages, advertisements, whatever. Fair? Now, based on the style and the purpose of communication, again, it can be divided into 2 types. One is formal and the other is informal. Now, I want to ask you, at college and, for example, any other communication that is related to your career, or let's say in your interview in the future, will your style be formal or informal? Type F if it is going to be formal and I if it is going to be informal. Formal or informal? I'm assuming you'd say formal. Okay, great. So again, to quickly take you through the types of communication, speaking is one way of communicating. It can be either direct face-to-face or telephonic or virtual. Writing through written documents. Listening is another important aspect. This is a skill in communication. LSRW they called. Listening is L, S is speaking, R is reading, and W is writing. So these are some important skills, and there is another way of communicating, that is non-verbal communication through our body language and gestures. Okay, so in this session, because it is a part of your induction, I don't want you to teach the entire course on technical communication. What we will do is, we will first try to understand why we are learning English for technical communication at all in engineering after being exposed to English language for so many years. Again, yeah, it's task time for you. Okay, this is a very interesting task. This task is about you, and only you will be able to answer this if you think you know yourself well. Okay, now the name of this task is add an adjective to your name. Okay, add an adjective. Now, before you know your name already, before we move ahead, I want to tell you what an adjective is. An adjective, which we would have learnt already in your schools and intermediate and all through our lives, that an adjective is a word that tells us more about a noun or a person or a thing, right? So it adds quality qualifies. So what I want you to do is, I want you all to add an adjective to your name that starts with the first letter of your name and that defines your personality. I'll repeat that. Add an adjective to your name that starts with the first letter of your name and that defines your personality. Example, my name is Purti. You know it already, right? So I should add an adjective to my name that starts with S because the first letter of my name is S, right? So I would say I am simple Spurti. Great. It's your turn now. Add an adjective to your name that starts with the first letter of your name that defines your personality and respond in the comment section. I'll wait for you. I got your responses already. Passionate Pratik, affectionate Anish. Kavita, I did not understand the response. Perfect Pooja, great. Powerful Pavan, natural Navina, great job. Rising Raghunath, silent Shashi. Oh, some of you are using somebody else's ID, is it? Okay, no problem. Attractive Ankita, affectionate Anish, daring Deepthi, attitude Aishwarya, I don't think that's the right adjective. You might want to change that. Talented Tagore. Natural Navya, great. Strong Shiva, good job. Simple Cypria, ambitious Abrar, perfect. Good job, everybody. Great Ganesh. Wow. Okay. Now, simply in one word, don't you think you beautifully communicated to the other person about your personality? You just used one word. That is what we use mostly in our written communication, right? And today we are using written communication only to interact. You are using written communication to interact. And by just adding that word, one word, you just told me what kind of a person you are. For example, Kyati said she's kind-hearted Kyati. Right. So now I know Khyati is very kind-hearted because of just that one word which Khyati used to define her personality. Right. So communication, each word, each letter makes sense and adds a lot of meaning in communication. Right. You so beautifully communicated. I would like to congratulate all of you for being able to identify your personality and put it in a word, and just for being able to communicate that in one word. Try doing this in your class as well. Simple. All you have to do is you'll have 50, 60, 70 students in your class. Try to know that person with that adjective. In your first class, when you meet in person, you will be able to say, oh, hi, you are simple Shruti, right? You're perfect Priyanka, right? You're natural Neha. You're perfect Pooja. You're great Ganesh. You already have your 50, 60, 70 adjectives. There are many ways in which you can learn a language and use it, not just English, guys. Again, I would like to reiterate, language is just a medium to communicate. What you communicate, the content is the most important thing, right? Great, let's move ahead. That is communication in general, right? That is general communication that we use. The focus of today's session and the focus of the entire course in your engineering is on technical communication. Now let's look at what technical communication is. But before then, I have, again, it's task time. This will, I'm sure, will make you all stay awake. So my question to all of you is, how many alphabets do we have in English? How many alphabets do we have in English? You can type in the chat window. Oh, sorry, comment section. I got so used to using chat window as a term because we're using a lot of these software applications these days. Uh, so in YouTube, it is chat comment section. 26. Sandhya says 26. How about others? Deepti 26. Shruti 26. Shruti again said 7. Okay. I'm just waiting for any other answers apart from this. I'm getting similar answers. Okay, let's give it another 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And I'm terribly sorry, but there is only one alphabet in English. All these are called letters. A to Z is called alphabet. That was a very smart answer. Some of you said 7, right? By counting ENGLISH. But then there is only one alphabet in English with 26 letters. Like in Telugu, it's called Aksharamala, right? So I think it is the same word that we use in Hindi as well. So is the case with Hindi. Aksharamala has many letters, many aksharas, right? One Aksharamala. For example, uh, all of that is Aksharamala, right? Likewise, A, B, C, D till Z or Z is alphabet. So remember this. How many alphabets do we have in English? I'm waiting. It would have been nice to be in person and be able to interact. How many alphabets do we have in English? I want the number to be typed in the comment section, guys. Remember this and type. How many alphabets? One. Correct. Good job. And one alphabet with 26 letters, right? So I want you all to grab a pen and a paper or a notepad, whatever is with you, okay? And perform this task, okay? You will have 5 minutes. It's 2:05 by my watch, and you have 5 minutes to perform this task. The task is take a notepad or paper and write one word for each letter of the alphabet. Okay, but this one word should be technology related word. Okay, technology related word for each letter of the alphabet. I gave you examples as well, and the beauty is you can't use these examples. A antenna, Alexa, B broadcaster, C cable. Likewise, the reason I gave you Alexa is because you can use your tools as well. For example, you want to use Play Store, you can go ahead and use it. Doesn't matter. But then I want you to write down one word per letter of the alphabet that is related to technology. Fair? Your time starts now. Just type, write A, B, C, D, E till Z horizontally and keep adding words as and when they come to your mind. And type done in the chat window once you're done. No cheating, please. No cheating at all. 1 minute up. You have another 4 minutes. Samir, you don't have to type it here. You'll have to write it on a notepad or a paper. Don't type any responses here. Just type done once you're done. I will randomly pick somebody and ask for a word with a certain letter. Let's say I will pick, let's say, Tanuj, and say, Tanuj, give me a word with T. I may, right? So, no cheating at all. Pratik, fantastic. Okay, let's wait for others. I said 5 minutes, so 2 minutes up. We have another 3 minutes. Let's give it others time, and then we will begin. Fair? In the meantime, Pratik, this question is for you while others are completing the task. Are you able to follow my instructions? Am I speaking very fast? Is there any challenge so far? Type no if there is no challenge, but then if you have a challenge, please type. For example, if you want to say your rate of speech is very high, you can say high speed. Or if my voice clarity or the technology connectivity is not great, you can type technical issue, whatever. Anybody who's completed the task can do that. Khyati done, great. Pratik, no issues, right? Great, good job. Okay. Khyati and Pratik will wait for the others also to complete the task. I hope you did the task yourself. I mean, you did not use technology for completing the task. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know what happens? Our brain has a lot of words already. Our brain is a beautiful word bank because it has a lot of information and a lot of words that we would have come across. Just need to give it a quick wiggle, and then you'll be able to bring out a lot of words. The words they themselves will wiggle out of your brain. So don't use technology for things that you need to retrieve from your brain. Remember the ATM slip task, right? Always remember that. You need to give your brain some work to keep it active. Just two people done. Does that mean the others are not doing the task, or they are still completing it? I get worried sometimes. I would have known if it was in front of you, but then otherwise it's difficult. Done, great. Good job. I'll come back to this when I want to, when I can. So can we now move ahead to the next one? I have a story. This is a story time. Okay. Now the story is, I want to understand if your technical skills are enough, right? So do you see the two ladies sitting in between while the men are working? The two ladies are mothers, and our mothers have one topic to discuss all the time, right? What is your son doing? What is your daughter doing? That is where their world begins. For most of them, especially these aunties, our neighbors, they come sometimes and then they sit with our mums and they're like, what is your daughter doing? What is your son doing? My son is doing this, my daughter is doing this. My daughter cooks brilliant biryani. My daughter makes amazing tea, coffee, whatever. The most trivial things also they will discuss. Did it happen with you? Did happens with all of us, right? So let me tell you what these two women are discussing. So the women on the left told the lady on the right that you know what, my son, he is brilliant. You know what he's doing? He's a hunter. Okay, now all these people are from Stone Age again, so don't worry about animal rights yet. So he's a hunter. He used to hunt smaller animals earlier. Now he's trained to hunt elephants. Remember that image from before? So he's trained to hunt elephants, and then he will go to the jungle tomorrow onwards to hunt elephants, and then he will get promoted to hunt to be able to hunt wilder animals. And what is your son doing? Okay. And the lady on the right says, I'm thoroughly disappointed with my son. The lady gets curious, says, why are you disappointed with the son? The lady on the right says, my son is a little weird. He doesn't do anything. He just doesn't go for hunting. He doesn't do anything at all. He just sits in the cave all day and draws some pictures all day. He just imagines that he is hunting, or people are hunting animals. They're doing various things like cooking, hunting, making a lot of things. He just imagines and draws them on the wall. He cannot do anything. He's not capable of doing anything at all. Right. And she's very upset and she starts weeping. Now, my question to you, all of you, is who, according to you, helped you or me and all of us understand their civilization? The hunter's son or the artist's son? Type H in the comment section if you think the hunter's son was more successful in passing the information to us, or the artist's son. Then type A. I'm waiting for your responses. Rambabu says artist's son. Great. How about the others? Everybody says artist's son, right? But then the lady was crying and very sad because his son wouldn't do anything. Right. Task time again. Now, the new task for you is, how do we preserve and pass the information today? The artisan drew the pictures on walls, right? So how do we save information, share information, and pass information today? Same image for you. See, you'll also see the hunter son and the useless son sitting there on the left, right? The hunter has the bow and arrow, and the one sitting on the ground with a nail and hammer, right? So, how do we preserve the information today is the question. Facebook, Twitter, photos, okay, and any other way? What do we use? Do we use nails and hammers again? What do we use? Technology. What technology? So today we use wide variety of equipment and computer software to make our writing and research efficient. Agree with me? So we use graphics, we use multimedia presentations, we use software and others to process the information into usable form. Because if I would now draw the same thing on the wall here in front of me and show that wall to you, you will give me all kinds of looks and then say, which age is she coming from, right? If I have to process the information to you in this generation, I will have to use what I'm using right now, which is a computer software, right? Great. And for us to do this, we use technical communication. Knowledge, to pass knowledge that we have, we use technical communication. This is a very beautiful quote that I came across the other day. It was a random quote from somewhere. It says, knowledge is like paint. It does no good until it is applied. You have a lot of information. You can have a lot of information. Unless you actually apply that information, it is of no use. Right. For example, how many of you had chemistry or physics in your Intermediate, I believe all of you did, right? Right? So how many of you performed any experiment in your intermediate or school? Even school, we had a lot of lab experiments, right? So how many of you performed experiments in school, high school or colleges? Type, let's say 5, number 5 if you did. If you performed any experiments in your college or school. It can be as simple as the litmus paper experiment or something. 5, number 5 in the chat window, in the comment section. Ah, 5, number 5, please, because I'm getting me. I have a feeling that you're not following me during practical exams. Yes, right. Good job. Okay, again, why should you do it at all? Because the information is already there. Somebody did the experiment and gave the results, right? Why did you have to do the experiment again to re-establish the fact? You knew that litmus paper acts in a certain way. Somebody told you that. Why are you performing the same experiment again? Because we believe in learning by doing. You don't take any information on its face value, right? At least when it comes to technology and technical information. So I want to ask you, what is technical work? What do you do? What according to you is technical work? So for example, my God forbid, it should not happen right now during the session, but then let's say it does happen and my computer stops working. What could be the issue with it? It is probably because I'm not connected to power, or it is basically has been running for too long, or it could have a software issue, virus issue, whatever kind of issues, right? Right, application issue. Correct. So basically there is a problem, and then by performing a certain task you'll be able to resolve the problem. Correct? Is that what technical work is? Technical work is it is equal to solving a problem. Can you give me letter Y if you agree with me? If you agree with this equation, technical work equals to solving a problem. Can you give me Y in the comment section if you're with me? I'm waiting for you. Okay, great. Right. So usually there is a question, which means there is a question. What is the question? What is the problem with the computer? The solution is your answer, right? So let's say the question is, why is my computer switched off? The answer is, you did not connect it to the power port. Please connect it to the power port. As simple as that. Right. So usually technical work involves a question and an answer. We will use this in the future as well during this presentation. Remember this slide, guys. Technical work equals solving a problem, which means there is a question and an answer. Example of questions and answer. For example, the problem is, there is a calamity. Let's say you are living by a river and there is flooding happening somewhere. Okay, in Hyderabad, you all the Matushri is in Hyderabad, right? What happened during the last heavy rains in those 3 days? There was heavy rainfall. People were asked to evacuate. Nobody thought it will get so bad, and then they ignored the messages from the government, and then they said, you know what? There is one team that decided to create a queue calling app because people ignored the SMSs, messages that the government sent, right? So happens, right? If you open your phone now, we use Telegram, we use WhatsApp, we use Insta, we use Facebook Messenger, we use all these, but when only for transactions. For example, there is an ATM withdrawal, then that message comes to our phone, we look at it. Else other messages we royally ignore, right? So likewise, people apparently ignored that message as well. So they created a queue calling app. And then this is the solution. So the question was what you wanted to find out. they shared a report in which they question the question and answer format of that report is, we worked on a telecommunication project because we wanted to find out how people in remote villages can be warned of an impending calamity. Okay, and what is that you found out in the end? We found that an automated short message voice call received the best attention, which is supported by our results from a queued calling application we developed. Now, I want all of you to take a screenshot of it. Screenshot of this slide and save it. I'll tell you why. You have a task coming your way in a couple of minutes based on this. Once you're done, just type, let's say, 0 in the comment section if you are done taking the screenshot. Okay? All right. So, technical communication is nothing but the process of transmitting facts and information to be defined to a defined audience for a specific purpose. In other words, it is writing for understanding. Okay. Now, general communication is for communicating or passing information or passing messages. Technical communication is a little different. Now, the audience is different for technical communication. It is not to general public or general audience. If it has to be sent to the general audience, the way you communicate is going to be different. We look at that aspect as well. Okay, I want you to remember that technical communication has a specific purpose and will have facts and information, or sometimes well-researched information that you pass on to others, right? With a specific purpose. Explanation. Technical writers present information in science, electronics, and other technical areas on a professional level, backed up by data facts so that information is complete and accurate. Inaccurate, insufficient, incomplete information is never accepted or appreciated in technical communication. Employee who can produce focused, clear documents often have a competitive edge over others who are less skilled with written communication. Be it in your engineering, where you will be submitting your project reports towards the end, or be it in your job interviews, or be it once you start doing your job, be it on the actual business floor. Whatever you do, you will have an edge over others when you are able to produce focused, clear documents. And this communication or passing of information or processing of information is called technical communication. All of the session today is going to be on this, and you will have tasks where you can actually see how you are writing right now and how differently you are supposed to write. Fair? So some quick aspects of technical communication: messages related to science. Usually this is used for passing or storing or processing or sharing information related to science and engineering and technology, written in article forms, reports, Wikipedia, graphic forms. You have oral chat, classroom seminar, interviews, video lectures, tutorials, procedures. You have all these YouTube videos on how to do this, how to do that, how not to do it, right? There's a lot of information available already. And the purpose is plain: for others to know and reproduce. For example, your lab experiment, you knew that a certain chemical, phenolphthalein, will behave in a certain way when mixed with a certain chemical. And then you actually did that again and you reproduced. You for example, you grow up to become a scientist, and then you find out that a certain element of phenolphthalein, when reacting with, let's say, another element present in the other chemical, gives you a different color altogether. I don't know. It's a random hypothetical experiment example that I'm giving you. Okay. So you may become a scientist who will reproduce information based on the fact or information that you have known. So know, make, use elsewhere and reproduce for a benefit of the society. Now, the very important point is that technical communication is ahead of any culture. It is universal and language independent. Unlike general communication, technical communication is language independent. Some formulas are supposed to be read that way in their structures only, be it whatever language it is. Right? Sodium, I think, is Na, right? Is sodium Na? Be it whatever language, sodium is sodium. That's right. Chlorine is Cl, so NaCl, sodium chloride, right? So likewise, okay, always remember that the purpose of your technical communication is one, to know and to reproduce. And it is beyond or ahead of culture and language. It is universal. Fair? All right. Great. Main features of technical communication again. It focuses on the reader, not on the writer. Remember this. It is not about who did what. It is about what is the reader going to do with the information. Right. The focus is more on reader. Is efficient and accessible. It is available. It is clear and relevant. It uses media effectively. It is created by both individuals and teams. It's not that only one person creates this information. Targets a global audience. The audience is not restricted to a certain area or region. Is persuasive and truthful. That's the most important aspect of technical documentation. Facts. It has to be truthful and is based on research. Okay. So that's about technical communication and the main features of technical communication. It is task time again. The task now, let me explain it to you. It is about 3 V's. The first V is vocal. The second V is verbal. And the third V is visual. I'll repeat that. Vocal is basically your voice. Verbal is basically your words. Visual is what you see. Okay. Of these, which is the most effective way to communicate, to pass a message effectively? Let's give it percentages. Would you want to give what percentage would you want to give to vocal, voice? Okay. What percentage would you want to give to verbal, the words? And what percentage would you give to visual, the view of it? Okay, so do you want to give 33, 33, 33? Do you want to give 50, 20, 10? Do you want to give 5, 5, 90? It's up to you. You can type your ratio out of 100 in the comment section. I'll give you an example. I'm typing in the comment section. For example, I want to see 33 is to 33 is to 33. So that is my comment in the comment section. So you'll write it in that format. I'm not able to see your name. It says developing world and you give 80% to visual. But then can you please type in ratio format, please? Okay. Anish says vocal 33, visual 30. Okay, 33, 30. Great. Tulasi says 20, 30, 50. Raghunath says 20, 20, 60. How about the others? 70, 40, 35. Sandhya, how Sandhya? 70 plus 40 itself is more than 100. Shivraj, it can be that. I mean, if just visual without I mean without voice and all, because it can be interpreted in different ways. Okay, let me give you a clue. Let's look at the clue on the screen. That is the ratio 7, 38 and 55. What would you give 7 to? What would you give 38 to? And what would you give 55 to? And 3 V's are verbal, visual and vocal, whatever, in any particular order. How much percentage would be words? This is the success percentage basically. How much would be visual and how much would be vocal voice? Ashish Yadav, good afternoon. I think you just joined the session. I hope you're following the instructions. Okay. Ramya says 55 to visual. Bang on. Perfect. Good job, Ramya. How about the others? 7 to what? And 38 to what? 7 to vocal. Rishita, Anish, perfect. You know what? You guys are super intelligent. Let me tell you why. Alfred Marabian and his team took 14 years to arrive at this. And you took less than 5 minutes. You're already brilliant and ahead of time. And you're doing a fantastic job so far. And I'm sure you will continue to do something like this in your engineering education as well and achieve great heights in your careers. Because looking at the rate at which you're working, I hope you just thought about it and did not take this information from the internet. But then that is exactly the right percentage. 7% for verbal. Your words will only convey 7% of the message correctly. Your voice will convey 38% of the message correctly, but your body language gives the maximum uh, information through you give the maximum information through your body language, which is 55%. Good job on that, guys. So again, I have a task. I hope you don't do this in your class where you're playing games and all of that. I have a task for you. It's a very funny image. I thought I will share this with you. The task that I have with you is is you can read it on the screen. Explain in 3 minutes a summer project or lockdown project. We have done a lot of things in lockdown, right? We are 9 months at home. We could not go out, no shopping, no play zones, no gaming centers, no restaurants, no nothing, right? So we were at home doing something or the other. So some of us would have done a lot of things. Now I want you to write the text on a piece of paper in 4 to 5 sentences and explain what you've done. Explain about your lockdown project in 4 to 5 sentences. You have exactly 3 minutes. No, I'm saying 4 to 5 sentences, right? 4 minutes to complete this task. I'll repeat the task for you. Explain in 3 minutes a summer project, lockdown project. Write the text on a piece of paper in 4 to 5 sentences. So you have 3 plus 1, 4 minutes. Starting now. It is 2:35 by my clock. I hope you're all writing and you can type done in the comment section once you're done writing those 4 to 5 sentences. One minute up, you have another 3 minutes. Anish, good job. How about the others? 2 minutes up, 1 more minute. No, 2 more minutes, I'm sorry. I said 4 minutes, right? So 2 more minutes, guys. Whatever you did. Sanya Naik, good job. Fantastic, you helped your family, good. Khyati, good job. Developing World, I don't know your name. Developing World, what's your name? Manvita Reddy, good job. I see your name as Developing World. Mansood, good job. Swami, Rishi, Ritish, Tejaswini, fantastic. Okay, so now let's move ahead. We'll come back to this later on, okay? So, very quickly, can Masood give me a word with a technology related word with S from your list, please? Quickly type a technology related word with S, S as in second word from your list. And Anish, could you please give me a word, a technology related word from your list with Y as in yellow? Banu, give me a word. Banu Prasad Patel, give me a word with D from your list. Technology related word D from your list. Okay, great. Now we look at from some aspects of technical communication. We understood that from general communication, technical communication is different because it has a purpose. Now the purpose is to let people know of what it is, and uh, with an aspect where it gives a facility to the reader to go ahead and reproduce the information for his or the society's benefit. Now, some aspects of technical communication are: one, technical writers must consider before beginning any type of communication. These are the aspects that they need to consider, come what may, before beginning any type of technical communication. They are audience, purpose, format, and style. Okay, now audience as in who is going to read whatever I write. For example, who will read a lab manual? You can't expect somebody who doesn't understand technology at all to read a manual, right? Now I have a question to all of you. If if I tell you that the first day you come to college, I'm going to show you a new device, okay, a technological device. It will be the launch of the device, and your batch is the lucky batch to see the device offhand first before it goes into the market. How many of you would want to go ahead and use the device and see how it works? How many of you would want to look at others use the device? If you would go directly and you just look at it and look at the operation and use it, type 1 in the comment section. If you would want to stay back and look at others actually using the device, type 2. If you are somebody who will wait and read the manual and then go use the device, type 3. What would you do? 1, 2, or 3? Okay. Oh, we have people. Ramya says she will look at others, okay? And most of you say, I will try it. Nobody wants to read. Okay, Anish says, I want to read the manual. Sandhya says, I want to read the manual. Raghunath says, I want to read the manual. Good job, good job. Okay. Now, who writes this manual? How many of you, okay, honestly, raise your hand up if you read your manual before you started using your phone? Raise your hand only if you read the manual before you started using the phone. The phone that your parents got you or the phone you bought for yourself. How many of you read the manual? Either on the internet or anywhere? Nobody raised the hand yet. Okay. So, why would you not read the manual? If there was Ramya, good job. Yeah, okay. If how many of us read manuals? I mean, how many of you like reading those manuals? Let's say you have a new technological device at home. How many of you would like to read the manuals? And the question is to those who would not like to read the manual. How many of you do not like to read the manual? You can say I don't. You can type I don't. I'm talking about not on the internet, guys. I know instead of reading the manual, you'll go to the internet and go and type in the YouTube as to how to upgrade my Android. Let's say, right? How many of you do not like reading manuals? And why? Why don't we like reading manuals? They're boring. They're lengthy. They're black and white. All right. So in that case, how do we communicate in a way that the message goes out effectively? There's a cost involved, right? That particular manual that comes with your refrigerator or your phone or your washing machine or your oven or your AC or for that matter your Alexa or your other devices, your robo vacuum cleaner, your dishwasher. You have a lot of these devices at home, right? So all of these come with a manual, but then we'd not go for the manual, we'd go for other sources again, and the information that you require is pretty much present in that manual as well, and that manual is technical communication. Small letters, they're lengthy. Right, now there's some things that you need to keep in mind. You are audience, right? You've looked at those, right? You looked at the documents, you said these are the challenges with these, I mean, I find them boring, I don't like them. I look at the unboxing videos. I see all those comments, and it is very important to know who you are writing to. It for me, for you, it probably was boring, but then for me, it is too much of jargon, too much of technical information. I am from humanities and social sciences. I use technology, but then I'm not trained on coding and all of that. Now you ask me to generate this code, download that software, apply this and link those two. I will understand nothing. It is beyond my cognitive ability. Right. So it is very important for these people or you all tomorrow when you start writing these documents to keep me in mind. Somebody like me who's not tech savvy, right? And also somebody who's very tech savvy. Let's say for example, my brother. He's very tech savvy. He is an IIT and an IIM product. Right. So he is extremely tech savvy. He will get bored of the documents that I would like to read. There are all kinds of audience, right? So you need to remember, I have a little task for you here. Okay. Now tell me if this lady is going clockwise or anti-clockwise. Is she turning clockwise or anti-clockwise? Type C in the chat window if you see clockwise, and if you see anti-clockwise, type A. Now let me help you understand clockwise and anti-clockwise. From she's going in circles like your clock goes. It's clockwise and the otherwise is anti-clockwise. Is it clockwise or anti-clockwise? I see a lot of C's. Okay. All of you see her going clockwise? Okay. Shivani says anti-clockwise. Okay. Okay. Khyati says anti-clockwise. Shashi says anti-clockwise. Pratik says both. Priyanka says clockwise. Anish says both. Okay. Let me tell you what. this is actually a GIF. You can go draw, not right now, please don't go now, but then after the class, you can just type dancing lady on Google, and then you will be able to actually find an entire Wikipedia article on it as to how illusions work. There are other illusions as well. The theory is that people who think with their right brain, who are logical, would see the lady going clockwise, and people who work with their left brain, who are creative, would see the lady going anti-clockwise. Okay. So the reason I'm saying this is because you have all types of audiences. You have all types of people reading your documents. You should be aware of who you are writing it for. Okay, so audience could consist of managers, co-workers, customers, scientists, students and researchers, clients, or the general public, or any combination of these. So they will have different levels of understanding and different information needs that require specific formats and styles of communication. So therefore, uh, information about the audience is important, and formatting and styles is also important in communication. So let's start with formats and styles, okay, and then we'll come back to audience towards the end. Okay, great. So purpose, again, like we looked at before, anything that we do in our life has a purpose, right? Okay, I went to school until 10th standard. I studied mathematics. You will study mathematics even now. Congratulations. I never liked math. And within mathematics, I never liked calculus. Never at all. When I was in school, they said calculus is very important in life. This is one thing that you will require all through your life, no matter what you want to do. I was very clear that I want to become a doctor, MBBS doctor, but then my MSET rank was so it was a big number which couldn't fetch me a seat in medicine, but I got a seat in dental. But then I was not very keen on doing a dental course. Therefore I did other sciences in my bachelor's, and then I moved to language education, where I started my PG in English. Okay, so calculus. So I'll tell you one day in November, the beginning of November. I even tell you the time at which I was doing it. At around very late in the night, I was reading an article, and I wanted to understand how calculus is important for me. From my teacher to my father to my mother to my grandparents, everybody told me that calculus is very important in life. Okay, so I wanted to understand what is the practical use of calculus in my life. So I see at on 2nd of November 2020 at 4 a.m. in the morning. You can see the time on the bottom right corner. Okay, I went to the holy land of all answers, which is Google. Okay, and I typed what is the practical use of, and looks like Google is extremely good at reading my mind even before I could answer. Even before I could complete, the first option was, what is the practical use of calculus? Which means there are a lot of people like me in the world who would have typed that question to understand what is the practical use of calculus in life. Right? I'm not saying calculus is not useful. I'm sure it is useful for you as engineers. But then for me as an English teacher, it makes no sense to me at all. Right? So therefore, you need to understand that every document that we produce has a purpose. Now, it is very important for us to understand what is the purpose of that document. For example, if I use the same presentation in, let's say, a class that I'm taking for researchers, okay, who are working in, let's say, literature area. Now, will it make any sense at all? This is also a document, a pretty decent document with pretty good information, I believe, right? It will not make any sense to my students from literature background at all, because this is on technical communication. What they are writing is not technical as such, but then there are technical aspects to that as well. Okay, so the purpose of technical document is supposed to be understand it and understood very well before we communicate. Any technical document is to inform, to explain, describe, or record your action. How many of you agree? Any other task that technical documentation performs? Any other task that you can think of that a technical document performs, you can type in the comment section. Guys, are you with me? I get worried if you don't respond. I know it's been it's almost been an hour and a half. I know. I'll give you an easy breather task next, which will help you relax a bit. But then, if you don't type, I get worried. Are you with me? Can I get a 1 in the chat window if you're all with me? Or the comment section? But can I get a 1? Can I get a 1, please? Just think. Okay, okay. All right, good job. Now, my question: can you think of anything else that a technical document performs? I gave you this information already. If you were paying attention in the previous slides, we already discussed as to what a technical communication, what should be the purpose of the technical communication. I'll give you a clue. One is to know. What is the other purpose? In the previous slides, I shared that the purpose of the technical communication is to know or let people know, and what else? Right. Question, answer. Right. With that question answer, what will people do? You'll get to know how it is done, and then what else will you do? For the benefit of the society, you will do what? Guys, looks like it's getting a little heavy. Let's go easy. Reproduce. Okay, I meant reproduce. Okay, let's go a little slow and easy. Okay, now the next thing that we'll discuss in the session right now is format. Oof, my bad. Format. Okay, technical communication can be written in the following formats. Let's look at these 5 formats which you will use all through your careers, not just engineering. This is what we have been using, which we will use all through our lives, at least when it comes to working or sharing information. The first format is called reports or documents, such as personal journals or narratives, lab reports, product specification, or quality test results. These are the general reports that we write. You will be asked to write reports in your course of engineering as well, in your projects as well. You will perform experiments in your different subjects throughout your engineering, and you will use these. And you will also be asked to write lab reports. We've done that in the past as well. Second type is record keeping forms, such as service reports, travel and expense forms, or troubleshooting logs. Now, this will happen mostly when you start working or you're organizing events. Let's say you conduct a fest this year. You need to keep a log of expenses, right? So that is another kind of report, which is elaborate, self-explanatory. Instructions such as user guides, online help, and training manuals. You said, you know what, somebody said I go through the box opening, whatever videos and all of that. Yeah, instructions basically. And correspondence such as letters, memos, and emails. There'll be a lot of correspondence that we will do in life. So letters sometimes, yeah, not as much as it used to be earlier, but then email communication, yes, email communication is an entirely different session altogether. entire learning altogether. I'm sure as a part of your course, you will be learning all these. Right, you will be learning to write reports, you'll be learning to keep records, you'll be learning to give, share, write instructions, and you will be able to understand how correspondence happens, what are the elements of email writing, letter writing, what to include, what not to include, and most importantly, presentations such as interview presentation, marketing calls, or training seminar presentations. What are some aspects of presentations that you need to keep in mind for different kinds of audience? I'm sure your course will cover a lot of these aspects, right? I don't want to bombard you with all this information right away, but then you have a lot of time to learn all of these. And once you get a hang of all of these, you learn these, and once you try your hand at all of these and get used to this, sky is the limit, because you are the creator of the information. Remember, guys, technical communication gives you an edge over others because you create this information for others. How beautiful is that? Right, people will be referring to that information after ages. Remember the artist child who the mother thought is unsuccessful but is the most successful person today, who gave the information to us about that age. You can be that artist student, and you can communicate using your technical documents, provided you understand the format, your audience, and you style effectively. Let's move on to style. So in style, I have this question for all of you. Who is this? Whose image, according to you, is this? Bapuji. Great, great. Good job. Good job. Mahatma Gandhi, Gandhi ji, ma'am. Good job, guys. Yeah, there are just three strokes, okay? In just three strokes, you understood who the person in the picture is. Yes? Now, if you want to, now go back to the 4 to 5 sentences that you wrote. Okay, you wrote 4 to 5 sentences as a part of the previous task, right? On your lockdown task. Now go to that lockdown task, and in just 2 sentences, bring it down to 2 sentences. Tell us what your project was in 2 sentences only, like this image. If you look at it, this is the entire image. Clearly stated sentences, elaborated information. Both the images belong to the same person, that is our father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, right? But then the first image on the left is passing as much information as the second one, right? So go back to your task, go back to your script that you wrote about your lockdown project, and bring it to half. For example, if you only wrote 2 sentences, bring it to 1 sentence. Bring it to 1 sentence. If you wrote 5, bring it to 2, 2.5. If you wrote 3, bring it to 1, 1.5 sentence. Since you just have to write 1, 1.5 sentence, you have 2 minutes exactly from now, and it is 3:01 p.m. Anish, brilliant. What is the result? You also need to mention the result. Now, everybody go back to the screenshot that you saved on your phones or your computers. Remember the screenshot on what you did and what you found out? Go back to that. So the complete the task, reduce your number of sentences to half of the original, and use the template that I shared with you, the screenshot that you took. Ramya, good job. Worked and studied are 2 words, I know, but worked on what and studied what? Divyesh, MSET and household chores. Okay. But then MSET what? Wrote exam, corrected the papers, prepared for it. What aspects did you prepare or whatever? I said two. You have 1.5 sentence, guys. Anish, household work, I know. What? What was the result? What did you learn? For example, if you manage the finances of the house during that time, tomorrow in the interview, somebody asks you, okay, how did you effectively use your lockdown time? You cannot say, I worked and studied and that's it. You need to tell me, right? You know what? I will say, I manage my household finances. Now I'm able to account the expenses. I'm able to save money. Every action, every project that you have take up has a result. Write down, think about it. Ashish, yes, prepared for MSET and household works. How did it help you? That is, what did you do? What was the result of it? Guys, go back to the screenshot. You'll have to refer to the screenshot. That is why I asked you to take a screenshot. Remember the flood situation where the queue calling happened? They created the app. Then, when they applied the app, people were the response rate was higher. Hi, Vivek. Raghunath, your project was on playing games. Wow, such a wonderful project. Likit, congratulations. Okay, so now the reason I'm saying this is because depending on the audience, you may either have an elaborate uh, kind of document or a brief kind of document. For example, you happen to meet me at NIT Warangal, okay? And you tell me, and I am not from a technical background, okay? Both of us are in the elevator. You are going to meet the director, let's say, on the fourth floor, and both I am also going to meet the director on the fourth floor, and then we both get into the elevator and we have 30 seconds to talk, okay? And I asked you, hi, I know I met you that day, I was a part of your induction program. Then you say, yes ma'am, I attended your session. So what project are you working on? Would you start explaining things to me completely, or you would tell me, this is the project I'm working on? Or for that matter, let's say another example, let's take, now that the markets are open, you go out with your parent to, let's say, a right bazaar or a supermarket, okay? And then you meet your parents mother, your friend's mother, okay? And then would you say, hi, I am Spurti from Matrushi Engineering College. I am in my first year of engineering. I'm right now attending my induction program. I intend to do my project in this. In the lockdown time, I did my project. Or would you say, hi, auntie, how are you? Nice to meet you. And I am your son's or daughter's classmate. The way you interact is different. The information you give is different, right? So you'll select your style according to your audience and the purpose, and you'll format it accordingly. So style, again, writers base the style, language, organization, and layout of the document based on audience, purpose, and format, like I told you. Fair? Writers base the style. The document might need visible structure or headings and subheadings. So we would have done this, right? Background information, and then you'd say heading. For example, for a lab experiment, you always have these, what do you call, what are they? You need the phenolphthalein, you need test tube, you need a beaker. What are they called? Can you type in the chat window? Equipment required, right? Guys, are you with me? What are they called? In a lab experiment, when you write report, you would need the so like in cooking, you call them ingredients. What do you call them when it is a lab experiment? Team, are you with me? Equipment. Okay. So you need to have these visible structures of headings, like apparatus. Brilliant, apparatus. Yeah. Material required. Good job. Right. So these are the structures. Then you'd say introduction. Then you would say experiment. Then you would say findings. Then you would say whatever. Right. So these are some headings that you may require. And the document might not need visible clues for structure, such as casual emails or memos focused on one or only one topic. Sometimes, I'm sorry. Sometimes, especially memos and emails, if they are focusing on only one topic, they may not require these. It will be very silly if I write an email to you saying, salutation, hi, doctor, let's say, hi, Madhuleti, hi, Aishwarya, or hi, Sandhya Rani, hi, Shashi Kumar. And then say, introduction, hello, my name is Spurti, I am from so-and-so institution. Purpose, I am writing because A, B, C, D, E. It will look very funny, right? You may not take me seriously at all. So depending on the type of document you're writing, you'll adapt the style accordingly. Okay, and the layout can consist of condensed paragraphs that fill the pages of the document again, or it can provide a lot of white space with examples, charts, or graphics to illustrate points and bulleted or numerous lists to highlight main points. Now, these are various types of documents which you will use. There are a lot of types of documents and formats that you can use. I'm sure your teachers during your course will be able to take you through those. For example, there is a traffic signal model. For example, you want to share the results to some for somebody's performance. Traffic signal, how many colors do we have? We have 3 colors, right? Red, amber, and green. So red is always a signal, a warning, right? So they'll say, for example, if somebody, a subordinate is performing and is reporting to you, or let's say you form a group for conduction of, let's say, ABC event, your annual event, it's called ABC. For example, hypothetical situation, and you form a group and then you have to give a report on the group's performance. Okay, you'd say red. These are the red zones, or that things that are glaring hot spots, so we need to take care of it, or we need to stop doing this. We are spending so much money on this, we need to stop. Amber is basically, I think we need to improve our performance in this area. For example, in marketing. Green is we have resources, we have invited people, we have invited everybody, the invitations have gone out, we are our schedule, we are on schedule, our schedule is working fine. So green, amber, and red is one way of doing it. You want to submit a report, let's say a weekly performance report. Okay, so you can use something called a coat hanger model. A coat hanger normally has what? Behind your doors, if you look at it, you'll have hooks, right, to hang your clothes, especially at homes. So week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Right now in front of me, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hooked hanger in front of me in my house. So I can give a report saying week 1 this happened, week 2 this happened. So that's called a coat hanger model. There are other models and other styles that you can adapt to based on your requirements. Fair? Don't stress. Again, the focus is not only on English language, guys. If you are able to communicate in one language. Now I have a question, a question that is a little off topic. How many of you can speak more than one language apart from English? For example, I can speak Telugu and Hindi. How many of you can speak more than one language? Type in the chat comment section the languages that you can speak. Let's say Telugu Hindi, Marathi Hindi, Urdu Hindi, Telugu Tamil, Telugu Kannada. 2 languages that you can speak. Anish, type those 2 languages, please. Khyati, type those languages. Hindi and Divyesh, Hindi and Masood. When you say me, what are the 2 languages? Okay, Anish says Telugu and Hindi. Brilliant. Sandhya, Hindi, Urdu. Fabulous. Shashi, Hindi, Telugu. Divyesh, Hindi, Telugu, English, Gujarati. Krishna, Telugu and Hindi. Great. Let me tell you guys, if you're able to speak more than one language already, English is just another 3rd language. We are fortunate, I'm going to tell you, that some parts of the world, there is only one language that the world can speak. And let me tell you, the most advanced country also, the percentage of monolingual people who can only speak one language is very high. I don't want to tell you which country it is, you know it already. But then we are multilinguals. We already know two languages apart from English. So English is just the third language that we need to adapt. And research says that if you're able to communicate in one language effectively, any language, be it Telugu, Hindi, Gujarati, Marathi, Kannada, Tamil, Sinhala, whatever language it is, okay, you will be able to communicate in other languages as effectively as well, provided you put in some practice. So let me congratulate you for being multilingual already. You're fantastic. Okay. And you are ahead of a certain percentage of the world already because you are multilingual. All you need to do is put in some practice in English language and you will do fantastically well. And because technical communication is a part and parcel of your career, you will use technical communication in English because English is spoken and understood in most of the world. Okay, so these type of there are some visual aids that you can also use. Now visual aids can be in any language, not just English, and then these allow you for quick and scanned readings. Okay, generally people who read technical information prefer sentences that are straight to the point. They do not want jalebi. How is jalebi? It's round and round and round and round and round, right? For example, in novels, you read a very lengthy paragraph only to understand that there is only one action that is performed. They could have just given you that information that this person arrived at a coffee shop. Instead, they would say he stepped into a grand hall where at one corner where this enormous table was laid with very aromatic coffee beans and a very sophisticated coffee vending machine. In front of it, there were numerous tables with colorful chairs around it and people talking and engrossed in conversations. He stepped into the place, walking step by step on a smooth floor, white and shiny, which led him onto close to a table that was empty with again colorful chairs around him. He rested there for some time before he could raise his hand and call somebody to be able to ask the connoisseur to send him a coffee. Now, all that happened in this entire scene is this guy went into the coffee shop and sat on a chair. That's it. In one sentence, the novelist could have explained it. But no, they wouldn't do it. But don't do the same thing with your technical writing or technical documentation. People who read technical information would want the information straight to the point. Are you with me? Do you agree? Can I get an A in the comment section if you agree to what I said? No jalebi when it comes to technical information. I know you must be hungry. It's snack time and I'm talking about jalebis. Type A in the chat window or comment section if you're with me. Fantastic. Okay, let's move ahead. People prefer paragraphs that are short, with each paragraph focusing on only one type of information: function, usage, information, etc. Fair? So style guide, you always have style guides. There are formats, they're called IEEE format, MLA format, other formats for journals. And for your report books or your project reports also, there I'm sure is a certain format that the institute follows. Check with your seniors, and this is nothing but a reference guide for writers to follow when you are writing. And the style guide, it offers guidelines on the finer points of word usage, punctuation, and mechanism for standard communication. If your university or the institute makes such recommendations, familiarize yourself with approved style. Guys, remember it is the approved style that you need to follow and adjust your writing accordingly. Some tips that I thought I'll share with you before we go ahead and talk about writing technical communication. Well, now remember the artist's son, it is our job. We are writing the technical communication documentation. What are we supposed to take care of while we are writing? Fair? Okay. Very quickly, this is an image of a hotel room. Imagine you are traveling and you are given the responsibility of booking hotel room for your family during your stay. Okay, in the comment section, quickly type what are some things that you would want to make sure that you have there. I would say I would need AC and a comfortable bed, or a working table, let's say. Bed has enough space and probably a sofa as well to sit down and talk, a TV, and a lamp and good lighting. What else do you need? A washroom, of course. What else? What else do you expect the hotel room to have? Team, I'm waiting for your responses. You can type in the comment section. AC is gone, a comfortable bed is gone, sofa is gone. Lighting, yes, of course. TV, Wi-Fi, AC, and balcony, okay. Anything else? Network connectivity, comfortable bed. Yeah, absolutely. I see that all of us have similar needs, right? Most of the needs are similar. Most people sleep the same way. All of us have the same needs, right? Now, menu. Good one. Now, we next, the same, everything that you need in the hotel is available. Now, menu. We go to you go to that place and you go to the restaurant. Now, what do you expect the restaurant menu to have, include? It's an a la carte restaurant where it's not a buffet restaurant, it's an a la carte restaurant where you have to order a certain thing. What do you want the restaurant to include? No, I didn't tell you if it is in India or abroad, it is abroad. It's another country. What do you expect the restaurant menu to include? Restaurant menu to include hot water? Zion? Guys, I'm waiting for your response. Probably it is the necessity of the hour. We are supposed to drink hot water, they say. Okay. Fast food, ice cream, okay. I would like South Indian or North Indian or some Indian. France biryani. Okay. So we eat a little differently. People eat in a little different ways. For example, compared to countries, also they may probably have the same requirements when it comes to the room, but the requirement will change when it comes to eating. And it is very important to understand that people learn very differently. We all learn very differently. Our learning styles are different. Therefore, when we're preparing the documentation and we expect people to learn from it, we need to understand that each one for one size does not fit all. Okay. Let me tell you why I share that information with you is because there are some important questions that we need to remember. What does the audience already know about the subject? Like I told you, if you would have to prepare a document or a video for my brother, the requirement that he will have will be a lot different from my requirement. Right? I may require basic layman term information with basic structures and everything elaborately explained. But he may require information that is a little, what do you call, technologically advanced. He may not like it as much if it is very basic. How many of you would like information broken down to basic elements? And how many of you would like information a little advanced? Okay, can I get a B if it is basic and A for advanced? Guys, type in the comment section, type B if you want information broken down to basic elements, or do you want your writer to understand that you know the information already and would want it to be a little advanced. Okay, Priyanka, basic. Alekia, advanced. Okay, okay. All right, Shashi. Now, I have 55 people on the viewing the video right now. Not 55, I'm sorry. These are the 55 people are commenting very often. And let me look at how many people are viewing this video. 55 only, yeah. So now I want to ask you, if 55 of us have different opinions, just imagine the entire world has a lot of people. I don't know how many people are there in the world now. Okay, so writing technical communication, because of different knowledge levels and background, audience can be categorized into following. The first step in writing technical communication is to focus on the audience. The type of people that we are referring to are technical, semi-technical, and non-technical. Would you call yourself technical? Would you call yourself semi-technical or non-technical? What would you want to call yourself? Give yourself T if you're technical, give yourself S if you're semi-technical, and N if you're non-technical. I give myself N. I typed N in the chat window. See. Sanganaik Rathod, please don't remind me of Chole Batura and all of that food now, please. No, we have another half an hour to go before we break. Somebody already said biryani and I'm starving already. So let's not talk about food yet. Okay. T, T, S, I am N. Okay. How about the others? T, S, okay. Okay. So let's look at some information that we could give and how the same information changes based on the audience that we are interacting with, okay, or sharing the information with. How will the same information be presented differently to a technical audience, to a semi-technical audience, and a non-technical audience? Fair? Let's start with technical audience. So let's say the situation is somebody met with an accident and this is the information. Okay, a technical audience understands fundamental concepts and jargons. Jargons are words related to a specific domain or area without definition or background of information. They don't need a lot of background information. So the reader expects the writer to use technical language efficiently and appropriately. Here is a flavor for such a report for a technical audience. The medical staff at the emergency room made this report. Okay, so there was an accident and this report is prepared for technical audience, that is either let's say the x-ray operator or the doctor or another nurse will read the message. Only medical staff will read this information. So how is that information presented for technical audience? Are you with me? Can I go ahead? Can I get a 1 quickly in the chat window if you are with me? Guys, you've been great audience so far. 2 hours up and your energy is going up only. Fantastic job on that. Let's keep the spirit up for the next 30 minutes also. Can I get a 1 in the chat window or the comment section if you're with me and if I can go ahead? Great, let's move ahead then. So, report for a technical audience. This is the report that is written. Subjective, patient, see care of SOB secondary to MVA, motor vehicle accidents. Objective, 40-year-old found conscious sitting behind bent steering wheel of passenger car with extensive front end damage. Head, RE patient, eyes attentive, skin WD, see some cyanosis presence, whatever. Now this is jargonish, right? How many of you understood this? I did not understand this. Okay. Now let's see how the same report is written to semi-technical audience. Now let's understand semi-technical audience before we move ahead and read the report. Semi-technical audience needs some explanation of concepts, abbreviation, and jargon. They just don't need elaborate information, but then they'll probably require some input into what it is all about, and jargon can be used provided it is also explained and elaborated. Writers use technical terms only if they are common in the company or the industry. Okay, this report probably, that report went to medical officers and others, right? So probably this report will go to paramedics beyond that, or somebody who can interpret the information as well. Or if it is about, let's say, somebody's health, and then there is another person who is writing a report on it, if that person also understands, if it is about a person's condition given to a family member, how is it going to be written? So, report for semi-technical purpose, the same report, okay, subjective, patient complaints of shortness of breath, secondary to motor vehicle accident. Remember MVA there? Now it is explained here. 40-year-old white male found conscious, sitting behind bent steering wheel, passenger car with extensive front end damage. Now, little more detail, right? I'm sorry. Head airway patent, apparently, I don't know, that's a jargon, but then it is explained within brackets, said breathing freely. Then, eyes attentive, pupils equally reactive to light. When we go to the doctors, they usually put that light in the torch, right, to torture us. I always used to think, why is this guy putting torch in my eyes? What is his intention? Apparently, when the pupil is exposed to light, it will either shrink or enlarge. So based on that, they will check how it is functioning and the reactivity. I never knew it until very late in my life. So I used to curse my doctors whenever they used to put that torchlight in my eyes. And then I used to come home and do the same thing to my parents, and they used to hate me for doing that. I know. My daughter, who is 4 years old now, does that. She wants me to keep my eyes open when she projects that torchlight in my eyes, and it is so annoying. And I didn't know that it actually has a purpose when a doctor does it. And how do I explain it to a 4-year-old? I just let it be. I either take off the cells from the torch or hide the torch. That is the only other option I have to protect myself and my poor eyes. Okay, skin. Warm and dry with some cyanosis present. Now, I don't know what cyanosis is, but remember, this person is a semi-technical person. So, when writing a semi-technical report, some amount of information is given and explanation is also given. Now, if the same report is presented or written for a non-technical audience, how is it going to be different from the others? First, let us understand who these guys are and what kind of people are they are. I am sure they are like me, extremely non-technical. Okay, the last and most of us, for this particular case, I think all of us come under this category when it comes to this particular report that we are looking at right now. The last type of audience is the general public and unknown audience. Now, not always you know the audience, right? You may have unknown audience, you don't know the proficiency levels, you don't know how much of information they already have, or any combination of technical, semi-technical, or non-technical readers, including customers, clients, patients, researchers, whoever. Okay, this is a report for non-technical audience. For example, the report is given to the patient's wife. Okay, your husband was involved in a car accident. He's alert, cooperative, and oriented. We are treating him for 5 broken ribs on his right side, which are each broken in several places, called flay chest. This can cause breathing difficulties and even lung damage. Now, this is the information given to the patient's wife, who is non-technical, and anybody can understand this. Okay, the information again is involved in car accident, he's able to respond and is cooperative, getting treated. These are the places that he had problems with. He is facing breathing problem because of these issues. Okay, now do you see the difference now? Okay, that is how much the audience already knows. That is the first question that we answered so far, where we looked at technical, non-technical, semi-technical, and non-technical audience. Now, the second question that we will answer is, how does the audience want to know? Okay. The audience, whether technical or general, might want only the highlights of the information. For example, a manager might want to know the bottom line information such as total cost, time frame, or budget impact. For example, if you are again going back to the event that you're managing, you just want to know how much money is left, how much money is used, and how much time will it take to get the work done. Right? You don't need details of the information. Or the audience might want detailed information, including all the background procedures used, visual aids, data tables, and your conclusion. Depending on the audience and what type of audience they are, and how much information they already have, and how much they want to know, you might have to change the way you write your technical documents. And what does the audience intend to do with the information? This probably is the most important aspect of your technical documentation. Why am I even doing this? Why am I even telling you this? Why is Purti, who is an English teacher, talking about technical communication and English for technical communication and talking about all of this? Guys, like induction is laying the foundation for you to be able to build your careers in engineering. This session will help you lay your foundation strong in technical communication. If you don't understand the aspects of technical communication, no matter how much of grammar training I give you, no matter how much of pronunciation or other lexical or other writing training I give you, no matter how many times I train you on email writing, presentation skills, letter writing, or whatever, unless your foundation is strong and you understand the intricacies of it, it will be very difficult for you to maintain this throughout your career. Again, let me reiterate, repeat it, and put more emphasis. Technical communication is not for the course of engineering only. You will use this throughout your careers, whatever career you would get into. Not like, I'm not trying to be somebody who told me that calculus is going to be very useful, but I'm going to tell you very categorically that technical communication is very important, and you need to have this understanding to be able to base all your learning that you're going to get throughout your 4 years of engineering education. If you sit in an interview, you should know what aspects to share with your interviewer and how to frame your responses. You may have amazing English or oratory skills, but then if you don't have the content and the structure, you'll not be able to explain your point effectively. You need to know how to introduce, how to add more information, how to put in rebuttals and all of that. That is how you will frame your response, be it written or spoken. And for that, you need the basic understanding of what technical communication is, and the entire session is on that. Fair? Okay. So, what is the audience intend to do with the information? The most critical question. People read technical information for a purpose. Now, what is that purpose? Sometimes the purpose is simply to out of general interest, and other times audience want to follow the procedure, solve a problem, or make a decision, right? And writers must anticipate questions and provide the organization and details with audience needs. Always remember this, guys. Okay. Some false assumptions like all of us have. Now I'll give you an assumption and tell me if it is a fact or just an assumption. Type in the chat window F if you think it is a fact, or if you think it is just an assumption, it is a myth, type M. Okay? F or M. Are you with me? Okay. Unfortunately, writers sometimes have false assumptions of their audience. Now type F if you think it is a fact and M if you think it's a myth. My audience speaks and reads English. This is the assumption. Is it a fact or a myth? Guys, I'm waiting for your responses. Great. I got two people who responded M. I'm waiting for others. I want to see if anybody gives me a fact, calls it a fact. Shiva says it's a fact. Pratik, your yup, I mean, is it a myth or a fact? I didn't understand. Okay, so the fact is only a certain percentage of people in the world know English. Now that percentage is very high, but doesn't mean the entire world speaks and reads English. There is a percentage of people who don't understand, so it's a myth, guys. You're right, you're correct. Okay, so my second assumption, my audience will read the complete report of the manual. Is it a fact or a myth? My audience will read the complete report or manual. Is it a fact or a myth, guys? Myth, right? Yeah. How many of you read the entire manual or report? Nobody does. We are very assumptuous, right? I mean, for that matter, forget reading. God gave us 2 ears and one mouth so that we can listen more and speak less. But we wouldn't listen. We would speak. We would listen with an intent to speak or respond. We would not listen with an intent to understand. Our listening is only for our rebuttal or to respond quickly. Right? So, yeah, you're right. It's a myth. People normally don't read long documents. You are correct. Therefore, you are going and watching the videos and not uh, following the instructions in the document. My next assumption is my audience will remember what I tell them. So, my assumption right now in the session is you will remember whatever I told you in the last 1 hour 40 minutes. Is it a fact or a myth? Be very careful when you answer this. You may end up hurting my feelings about the entire session. No. Otherwise, generally asking you. My audience will remember. Let's say you make a presentation. It's an assumption that your audience will remember what you tell them. Is it a fact or a myth? All of you say it's a myth. It's a fact. I don't know if I should be happy that you're saying it's a fact. I am just applying it to my own session. I'm going to say, you know what, you're calling it a fact because you are going to remember something out of my session. Right? But the reality is, all of us know, studies show that people forget up to 50% of what they hear within 10 minutes and memory declines even more after that. So after 10 minutes, if I come back to you and ask you after 10 minutes of the session, let's say 4:15, I come back and ask you what you remember from the session, 50% of the information would have disappeared from your gray matter is what research shows. I'm not disappointed, but then you already know how to keep your brain active and keep using it. All you need to do is revisit the information, retrieve it from recycle bin. Go there every now and then, retrieve that information from recycle bin, apply the learning, and then I'm sure your brain will not have enough guts to send that information to recycle bin again. You will do it, I'm sure. Okay. So again, to sum it up, it's a beautiful slide from a session on technical communication from IIT Bombay, which says, taking you back to the same question that we had at the beginning. Technical communication equals solving a problem, and it is equals to a question and an answer. So, in a question, what do you have? Your objective or the main aim for conducting your research. And usually, these are interrogative sentences: who, what, where, why, and how. And the answer is direct answer to the question. Restate the question if answer is not compatible. Now, you need if you have the now you have an answer, right? Remember, guys, it's time to practice. Remember your lockdown task. You came down to 2 sentences. Now, frame it in. Write a question for that task that you performed and answer your own question. Let's say, how did my lockdown project help me in improving my accounting skills. And my answer will be, during lockdown, as I maintained the family budget for 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, whatever, I am now able to cut down on unnecessary expenses and save money towards the end of the month by planning and executing the plan effectively. Okay? So go back, take your time. I give you, see this 3:42 p.m. and you have 5 minutes now. This is the most important thing, and this is what you'll remember, guys. Question and answer. So we are revisiting the same information again on your lockdown task. Frame a question and answer that question. I gave you an example just now. Your time starts now. It is 3:43 p.m. You have 5 minutes to answer this. I'll get back to you at 3:48. I'm right here while you're performing the task. Guys, it's very important for you to have this question and your answer. This is one takeaway that you will take from here. What is the problem? What is the solution? What is the result? You identify the problem, you find the solution, you execute the solution, you show the result. So just put the same thing in 2 sentences, question and answer. For questions, use the WH words 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, this question is little wrong. 7 wise men. Remember the 7 men who were around the elephant? Who, when, what, why, where, how, and whose. So you can type 7 wise men in the holy place of all answers, that is Google, and that will give you the answers. Remember, I told you you'll have to remember the 7 men. These are the 7 men. These questions, these 7 men will help you. Who, when, where, what, why, how, and whose. There is an error on the slide, so don't worry about it. And directly, once you have the question framed, directly answer the question and type done in the comment section once you're done. 2 minutes up, you have 3 more minutes. Three minutes up, guys. 2 more minutes. If anybody is done, type done in the chat comment section. Guys, I'm assuming that you are thinking and writing. Please do remember, it's very important for you to write this, because you'll forget everything else, but then this one question and answer will stay with you. Don't waste this time. because we'll all be in such a rush after this that we'll not have time to think of what we did in the lockdown time. So whatever we have learned so far, this is the time to just put it into a nutshell and remember. Vamshi, good afternoon. Okay, last 1 minute, guys. It would have been so much better and nicer if we could all meet in person. Yeah, good evening, Vamshi. Because we would have had this opportunity to look at each of our questions and answers, and it would have been a lovely interaction. Nonetheless, sometimes in the future, for sure, God willing, and if the situation gets better. But then do take care of yourself and your family members, because, and everybody in your area and surroundings, because together we can overcome this. Okay, I got one done and it is time already. So 5 minutes up. If you are not able to do it, no problem. Remember, each of us learn differently and apply our learning differently. So I'm sure you'll be able to answer this question. Take some time out whenever you can this evening to answer this question. It's very important because it's about you and how you changed yourself. Uh, in these 9 months. So difference between general and technical communication, to put it in a nutshell, general communication has general information, informal in style and approach. It doesn't have to be more very formal every time, no set pattern, and mostly the general communication mostly is oral and not always for a specific audience. No use of technical terms of graphical representations in general communication. However, like we looked at so far, technical communication contains a technical message, mostly formal in style and approach, follows a set pattern. There is a style that you follow depending on the audience and the information they have. Remember the two questions that we discussed, both oral and written, always for a specific audience and a specific purpose, frequently involves jargons and graphical representations. Okay? You can take a screenshot of this if you would like to. I'm going to stay on the screen for 5 seconds. To summarize, in general communication, just to put everything that we've learned so far, in the last 2.5 hours, or to be specific, 2 hours 20 minutes, is in general communication. Always when we learned English for general communication, the focus was on listening to process the information and reply, or read, process and respond. However, in technical communication, the focus is on listen to know, process the information and respond by performance, or reproduce the information or experiment for the benefit of the society. This is the simplest difference between the English that we've learned so far in our lives and what we are going to learn from today till the end of our careers, not just engineering. Okay, so based on this, you can apply all the grammatical knowledge, all the lexical knowledge, all the vocabulary that you've learned or will learn in the future. But then this is the basic difference that you need to keep in mind. And you need to understand that, the first question that I asked you, why am I being taught English again in the engineering when I have already learned so much in my life? Right? Simple. In the course, during your engineering, you will understand how technical communication is differently presented compared to general communication to specific audience to pass the message. You will be the artist from the Stone Age. Be the artist and use the elements of technical communication effectively to pass the message to the generations to come. Right? So example, you have you created a lab, or you created an experiment, or you created a lab manual. Your future generations will use that lab in the future, let's say after 15 years. So you will be the author of the content. So for you to be effectively author the content or present the wonderful work that you will put in the next couple of years or entire career of yours, you need the technical aspects, and that is exactly what will be taught in your English for technical communication courses, in your engineering courses. So don't take English classes easily. Don't think that English classes are only for getting your grades. Don't attend English classes only for attendance. Attend English classes to prepare yourself for your careers, to be authors of your content, to sit in that interview and ace that interview, to be a light or a guiding light, or a path to your future generations. Okay, you have an opportunity to make a mark, and that you will get by attending English classes. So
Hello, ma'am. Then she.
I'm really sorry, I got disconnected. Are you able to hear me? I just got back. I lost connection. Sir, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, great. In a minute, let's resume. Going back to the same slide. So there was a power cut, everybody. So I had to I got disconnected, and before the generator can put me back on track. Let's get back to the question that I had at the beginning. So, is the objective met? Now, are we able to answer the following questions? You can respond in the comment section, everybody. The first question I have is, what is communication?
Ma'am, you are only audible. It's not visible, ma'am.
Oh, that's all right, ma'am. I mean, oh, okay. I have to share the PPT as well, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll share the entire window. Okay. Are you able to see the full screen now, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great, great. So you can type in the chat window what is communication, or the comment section. What is communication? Sharing of information, brilliant. Let's move on to the next question. What is technical communication? What is technical communication? I got answers up. I got answers for the first question. I'm waiting for the answers and responses for the second question already, guys. What is technical communication? I'll help you. What are the two aspects of it? Specific purpose, to let people know or inform, format, no, and to help them reproduce for the benefit of the society in a certain format and style, right? Now, what are the aspects of technical communication? Audience. What are the three types of audiences that we have discussed? Three types of audience that we've looked at. Technical, semi-technical, and non-technical. And the purpose is to share the information. You need to remember the format and the style. So that brings us to the end of the session. Correct. Good job, everybody. Thank you for being great audience. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Matrushri Institutions again to for giving me this opportunity. And I would like to take this time now that we are ending the session, to congratulate all of you for making the right decision of joining a premium institute, and for starting your journey towards a successful career. And I wish all of you all the best and great luck and success in life. Do well, pay attention, learn effectively every day, and apply the information that you receive. Don't just let the brain send the information to the gray cells. Again, thank you for patiently listening to me and for actively responding to the questions and performing the task throughout the last 2.5 hours. It was wonderful meeting you virtually. Looking forward to an opportunity sometime in the future to be able to meet you personally. And sometime, if you happen to come to this side of the world, do let us know so that we can welcome you at NIT Warangal as well. So thank you again for the time and the opportunity, Matrushri Institutions, and thank you for being fantastic audience, all of you guys. All the best. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. I'm standing in front of the camera, but then also spellbound. That was the effect of or impact of your lecture. For the past 2.5 hours, you have been, I should appreciate your energy levels. With the same pace, you went on, went on, went on. It is not mere exaggeration. It's just a note of appreciation.
Thank you.
Let me propose a vote of thanks. It's not mere exaggeration if I say your session was simply superb, and it was lively, interesting, and I have to find out the list of the adjectives to create here, because students have given very nice adjectives. Therefore, I should choose those adjectives to just say how your session was. Thank you so much. And especially, you have emphasized on the technical communication and very clearly demarcated the differences between general communication and technical communication. Is the need of that actually, because they have to first realize that they are into technical graduation. Yeah, and very thank you so much for your session, that and especially your valuable time, 2.5 years, and strong appreciation for your energy levels. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I thank the management and the principal for being very supportive in conducting ESIP. I thank the HOD of Sciences and Humanities, Dr. Shekharam sir, for designing such innovative programs for the newcomers, and thank the induction committee team for implementation the things into action. And my special thanks to Vishnu sir, who has been continuously rendering his services and is solely responsible for the smooth running of this program. And actually, ma'am, coming to you, you have made our job easy, English faculty's job easy, because they have this subject in the coming semesters, and already you have taught them everything. What Thank you once again, ma'am. And my thanks to the students who have been very attentive and very patiently. They have been listening to you, answering your questions. And my dear students, let me tell you, this was an effort by Matrushri to make you understand that you are not into general graduation, but rather into technical graduation. You will think, understand, and realize our efforts. Thank you, Spurti ma'am, once again. We'll be looking forward to inviting you for some more sessions in future. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye for now. Bye.
Bye. Bye.